Okay, welcome back. And we're looking, actually it was supposed to be a dual topic, but because the resources we have, seem to be leaning more in favor of the Oyo State explosion. We're staying there, and we're delighted to have with us the Special Advisor on Security to the Oyo State government, Mr. Fatai Owoseni, at the other end in Oyo State. But in studio, we also have Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, Director General, International Institute of Professional Security. And Dr. Ofoyetan, just before we went there, you heard the Special Advisor speak about the responsibility of the public, of the citizenry, to also bear this. Now, of course, we're still in contact with him, but I wanted to ask you, there's a Nigerian attitude about how safe it is to actually be relating with police, security people. In other words, how trustworthy are they in terms of what you're trying to do? You always hear, see something, say something. Is that really the safest thing to do? And for those who have that kind of an attitude, do you see anything to their concern at all?
Well, yes, it's a good idea to talk about. You see something, you say something. And I also agree with him to the extent that the citizenry, we have that responsibility to divulge and give information to appropriate authority. But antecedents, and President has asked this question, trust and credibility is built over time. It's not something that, we get just out of campaign and all those stuff like that. If over time, for example, the Ibadan case, now, the question is, are you telling me the authorities are not aware of it, either formally or informally? People would have complained. To what extent did you do anything before then? Now, let us even assume that people didn't complain. What is the assurance that if they had complained, that there will be swift action?
Yeah.
Now, you discover that I said something in this country. The culture of violence is also built by government over time. I need something from you as government. Our road is bad, our this is bad, our that is bad. I keep writing petition. Nobody is answering until one day, I and my group will go to your office and vandalize. It becomes headline news. Once the media picks it, the government becomes interesting. We have built a culture of violence. Now, credibility. We have seen over the years where people will make reports, and the next thing is, either the person is dead or something happened, and people now begin to relate such bad information.
Yes.
It may not be absolute. It's not absolute. But what I think is that the first thing is security agency will need to rebuild a culture of trust.
Trust with the very citizenry.
Yes, okay. Let the people trust them in such a manner that they protect their informant. Whether the information is right or the information is wrong, first build that culture of protecting those that give you the information.
Okay,
people will have the confidence to give you more.
Let me thank you, Wale in Houston, Texas. You've been holding on for quite a while. Good morning to you. Go right ahead now.
Good morning, Uncle Yemi.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
One, concerning the insecurity. I think Nigerian government need to go heavily on all these telecommunication companies in Nigeria. They can't just come into Nigeria just to make money, and that's all. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because every phone call you make is attached to a tower. You get me? Every phone call you make is attached to a tower. Let's take this, for example. If you leave Mushin and move to Ujeleba,
you can be tracked.
Number, we are certain numbers. All the numbers that make calls during that hour can easily be traced within this time. This time from 1 o'clock, this number is under this tower, and it moved from this time to this time under this tower. So the next day, and I'm sure they cannot just be using their platform to be allowing their platform to be penetrating criminals, to be penetrating crimes in Nigeria without them coming in to do something. Even if federal government are trying, I know federal government are trying to do all their best to put this thing to an end, and all the telecommunication companies, they need to come in and do their part as well.
All right, then.
My second
Okay, quickly then, since it's
Yes, sir. As for the explosion in Ibadan, it's
yes.
all saying we shouldn't blame government in everything that happens in Nigeria, because there is a policy, there is procedure and policy that every company has to take. They might bring all these explosion stuff and go through all the paperwork, permit everything, tell the government we're taking this thing to the side, right? And the government know they escort them to the side, but the government will not know when they're taking it out and bringing it to their residence. Because it's just like every other people drive their car, you go to work, you come back, they don't know what you have in your car. So it's not every time we blame government. You have to blame the company, because there's always a permit. Before you go into the store to take an explosion, you have to go through all the paperwork, do a permit, send to all the government agencies before you can actually bring one out. So it's not just...
Okay, I hear you. Indeed, thank you very much, and also thank you for the effort. Calling from the U.S. as it is, there's something of a 5 or 6 hour difference depending on where, time differential, where you're calling from. So we appreciate the inconvenience of your waiting up just because you wanted to join us this morning. It's just gone 11:30 in Nigeria. That sets you back around, I don't know, something around midnight. Or something like that, you know, or maybe 6 a.m., But thank you very much, Mr. Wale, calling in from Houston there. Now, back to Mr. Owoseni. We've been hearing from people. Now, the question that you were talking about, see something, say something, I don't know if you agree that people might feel that they've been at the wrong end of the stick for having this patriotic posture. Meaning that depending on how sensitive the information is, it might not be the safest thing to your general well-being. And you heard Tony speak there on this whole matter that, look, in spite of being encouraged by what you say, there still is the antecedent to work by. Do you think the authorities, the police especially, need to do anything further to further encourage people that, look, you know, this is a renewed hope in all aspects of our life, even in security?
The explosion was massive.
It was a massive explosion.
In Gaza.
Well, speaking... Okay, clearly there's some issue there. You could see that the special advisor was speaking, but we couldn't hear him. So while we're trying to sort that out, we're back to studio. So, well, you know, Tony, the gentleman who called in from Houston was also sort of trying to explain that, look, it's not everything you can blame on police, but beyond all of this, people just need to be, people want to be safe. All this one that we're discussing, intellectual, you were just commenting when you're just looking at the pictures that, what? This is a humongous bese, as our people say. It's not a laughing matter, you know. But
I understand.
you know, this is, and all of this, I don't know, maybe it would have happened anywhere, but look how quickly information was really came to the public that, is it a Malian? That they said it's a Malian miner of some sort. So people knew already. I think I saw something on social media, just as Mr. Owoseni was saying. Put it on the social media, everybody's going to be aware of it. A gentleman, I forget his name now, said that he simply queried the, with the information that he had, he queried the Corporate Affairs Commission or something like that, and was able to determine that this person that he's interested in, along with 4 other people, one of which was a Nigerian, you know, have set up a company. So that little bit of rudimentary intelligence was known. Now, if it was known, thank you, sir, a background check. I think this goes back to how serious we are really being with our intelligence, and even with how to keep ourselves safe. This is a security, almost like a fiasco, like a security fiasco that we're in the middle of now.
Well, this is not basically a security challenge as it is, except for the fact that maybe negligence from the part of those that store such explosive in such places, and maybe the regulatory authority following through with regulations and the like. Now, this that happened in Ibadan should also tell you what will happen in Kaduna, should tell you what will happen in Zamfara, and what will happen even in the same Oyo State.
Yeah, exactly.
Same Oyo
Are we sure that we have actually
Oyo
seen
town.
all
Yes.
of the vulnerabilities?
The whole thing is this. I expect that the Ministry of Mines and Power will be able to identify where we have mining activities. We have a lot of queries that use all these dynamites and the like. Now, do you even have record of all of them? The official and the unofficial.
I would like to
especially those places where you talk about mining that goes very deep. Gold. How many people are dying in gold mining sites in Zamfara that are not being reported? In Kaduna State that are not being reported? Now, the government has to be decisive. Why we don't talk much about the oil is because it's highly regulated. And because it's highly regulated, even the multinational oil companies have been able to put in place security, safety measures that they are now very, very safety conscious when it comes to issues like, avoiding oil, whatever, in the oil sector. But in mining of gold, in mining of all the mineral resources and the like, now that is also where you now have the attachment of the security challenges. Look at what is happening in Plateau State. You keep asking the question, why Plateau State? But we are shying away from the fact that Plateau State is a very rich state in some of these mineral resources. Platinum is a major deposit. We have a major deposit of it in Plateau State. Yes, in Plateau State. Now look at all these villages that are being attacked. They are not being attacked just only because of land. What is inside the land? Now those places that have been attacked and villages have been sacked, what are you doing to ensure that those bandits don't take over those villages permanently?
Okay.
Now these are things, they are interwoven.
They indeed are. But let me go back to Mr. Owoseni, because Mr. Owoseni, we're glad to have you back. We had challenges initially, and so when you were responding, your mic was mute. You were going to speak on the issue. In fact, you were already speaking on the issue, but we couldn't hear it, about this whole question of the trust, building trust. What can be done to build the trust where people are afraid that the security agencies that you're supposed to report to, in other words, help, might betray you in a way that could, really mess with your personal security. In other words, the security forces that you're supposed to be cooperating with are thrown in with the bad guys.
What I was saying is that this thing is mutual. When you talk of trust and you talk of, protection of informants, it is mutual. Right from when you even get the information Someone is there that you probably give to type things for you. How trustworthy is that person? We've seen situations where informants bring information, and before you act upon it, they are in one beer parlor. They've divulged all what has been given to you. So this credibility problem is not one-sided. It is mutual. But I'm also emphasizing the fact that we cannot continue to give excuses. Nations don't grow when excuses are given. We must break that yoke. And of course, technology has come that will not even make you to have a face-to-face interaction with the person you want to give information. Put it on the social media, let things go viral. The people that have been doing protests, they didn't do anything other than to sensitize people. It goes viral. And the government, the responsible government, will look at what has gone viral. At the floor of the different state house of assemblies, they will discuss it. That will spur the security agencies into action. But if we continue to absorb our people, the citizens of all this, and keep on saying it's because of mistrust, we will not get anywhere. Why do we have representatives at the State House of Assembly and the National Assembly? You can give the information to them. And what I'm also saying is that when our people want to use security agents for bad things, they know the route they take. They will call us. I want to see the Commissioner of Police to come and help me recover one land or whatever. But when it comes to using information that will benefit to the community, they will say that they are afraid. Don't let us deceive ourselves. This is the time to tell ourselves the truth. We are not saying the truth to ourselves. We must be able to speak the truth to ourselves and speak the truth to the authority.
Okay. Now, Mr. Owoseni, as a result of this, can one sort of assume that if government wasn't really aware as to the potential for danger that was lying in our midst there, with this haven't happened, is there a way in which government can now comb the entire place, see other areas of vulnerability, check up on those things? Since this caught us all by surprise, you shouldn't be having explosives in a residential area. Everybody knows that. So it was a vulnerability, it was a weakness, and it has happened. Are there ways for government to now be able to sweep and make sure that once bitten, twice shy, kind of a thing?
The thing, like I've mentioned before, the purchase of dynamite explosives are governed under what we call explosive ordinance law. There must have been some areas that they amended. The agencies that are supposed to administer this, including the ministry officials, some of them have not even seen that law before. In our early days in the police, that is what we call the Miscellaneous Act. But I wonder if some of the people we have now, because of dwindling capacity that we have all over, not all security agencies. And in that Explosive Ordinance Act, I had mentioned, you would register properly. You will send your application to the Federal Ministry of Mines and Power. The Office of the National Security Advisor will know. When approval is given to you, there are conditions precedent. One of the condition precedent is that you must have a magazine that is suitable for storing that explosives. The ministry officials and security officials were supposed to go to that magazine to find out that the place is suitable. They must also ascertain that the address with which you raise your application is where those things are. But because of a whole lot of bad things happening in this country now, you will see they will use the address in a plateau state. And when they are taking the explosives out, maybe one of the bosses in Abuja had said, oh, don't challenge Alaji. So many big men in this country. It will divert the security agencies, to another place. They will not be able to talk because they've been cowed. They've been intimidated that this Alaji, is a friend to so person. So if you argue with him, the guy has been intimidated. and you will see them now divert the explosives. Instead of taking it to the magazine where they're supposed to use it, they take it to another place. And this is what you have in this country. And that is why I say collective effort. We've seen situation even with the police, the mobile police. Someone will apply to say that, oh, I have a big company, and Inspector General of Police, please give me security to cover my expatriates who are in Kano. They will take police mobile or SPU to say they want to protect their expatriates in Kano. But meanwhile, they use those mobile police to, do their lifestyle by escorting them to social parties and everything. So these are things that we must check, that we as a people too, we are dishonest. When we put application, we don't follow it rightly. The agencies are weakened. The ministry officials that are supposed to go and ascertain where the thing to go to, whether you build it properly, they don't do that again. Just like when you want to open a bank account or people are released on bail. That is why bail is very difficult in Nigeria. Bailiffs are supposed to follow them to the addresses they are going to. Bank officials are supposed to go and do know your customers and whatever. They will not go. And when they go as well, we don't have addresses in this country. You may not like it. People may not like to hear it. If you say number 10, Anifowoshe, by the time you go back there tomorrow, it's going to be number 20, Olateju. So and that is why 419 also take advantage of all these things. So we must have a database. We must lay the foundation. You cannot put something on nothing, and that is one of the critical problems that is making our security challenges to look as if we are overwhelmed and we cannot do anything. We can do something. Nigeria has the capacity. We have the human resources. It's just about, doing the right thing, doing institutional memory, learning from lessons, which we don't do.
Okay. Mr. Owoseni, I appreciate everything that you've commented on and explained, but I also need to know if you are saying that this kind of an accident that happened, for all of the reasons that you have suggested, it can't happen again because people have been awoken by this, and certain measures are now in place, certain checks, rigorous checks are underway? Or is it that, look, what happened now, because of the parameters of what you've been speaking about, God forbid, could happen again somewhere else in Oyo State tomorrow?
Within the past 48 hours, people have related with us. People that have been hiding information, they have interfaced with us. And I must say this, because of this illegal mining and some of the things that have been happening, if you follow Governor Seyi Makinde, the executive governor of Oyo State, he's been one of the leading governors that is fighting over the evolution of power. The state has been aware that we have problem with illegal miners. The whole Oyo Park that spread from Oyo State up to Niger State, maybe part of Benin Republic. The state has been working assiduously. The governor has been supporting security to have clearance operation. And for us not to be having this, the governor signed an executive order late last year because he has engaged the federal government. When it was discovered that we have a mindstone or gemstone market, illegal market around Ojo and Mania, the governor engaged the federal government to say all these things that are in the exclusive legislative list, devolve some obligation to the state, because part of what is in the Explosive Ordinance Act is to pay a regular visit to people that are selling, and Oyo State has quite a number of them that you can go and check their record. Who have you sold to? Where are the addresses where these people say they are carrying these things to? And you also go and check the addresses. The federal government alone, how many staff do they have in the Federal Ministry of Mines and Power? And that is what the governor of Oyo State has been preaching. Devolve some of these obligations to the state, and that, he has been frontal about that, and that is why the governor of Oyo State signed an executive order to say that even the federal government has exclusive legislative power of this. The state where the minerals are, that we feel the impact of any negative thing as a state, that we have a right to have a law to protect our environment and to protect the people. So moving forward, His Excellency has put the security apparatus together to be frontal about this, to say, look, all intelligence reports you can put together, the DSS, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Police Intelligence Unit, including Amotekun that are within the community, let us spread our tentacles. Within the past 48 hours, the information we had gotten, let us start checking on them. And of course, engage members of the community, the traditional rulers. You've seen what has happened. So don't let us hide under collecting cheap money and allow these illegal miners to continue to do their illegal activities. And that is what Oyo State has been doing, including doing clearance operations within the areas where they are having all these illegal mining activities. And we keep on sustaining it using the military elements, the Amotekun, and other security agencies. We have started that since last year. This is just one unfortunate incident.
Okay. Indeed, one keeps one's fingers crossed. I think we can actually read between the lines of, that response. There are aspects of it that are not entirely within the province of the state government, but the governor is also a champion of we have to become more involved because of our own personal security. So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Fatai Owoseni, Special Advisor on Security to the
Thank
state
you so
government.
much for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Tony, also, I want to thank you very much. We've completely run out of time, but I just hope, as the commissioner, as the special advisor said, that actions have happened as a result of this that will make this less of a possibility going forward. So thank you very much also, Tony, for coming on the program as always.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, we really appreciate you. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Good night. Bye-bye for now.